Hello, Guardians. Welcome to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast. I am your host, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, is the Vault Dwelling, Jotun Toten, Hoodie pre-ordering, Josh Finney.
Corey, I'm so goddamn tired of logging on to Twitter and seeing new things going up for order on the Bungie store.
Maybe you should stop following the Bungie store.
I need to delete Twitter. I need to block the Bungie store website.
You just need to not look at the Bungie store anymore, Josh.
I need an intervention. I didn't even look at it this time. People are fucking retweeting this into my timeline going, oh my god, this hoodie. Why would you announce this 30 minutes before Tower Casual starts? I want to talk to somebody at Bungie right now, okay? I want to talk to a few people up there.
We need to have a discussion.
Bungie, we need to have a few discussions, okay?
Bungie, come on. Stop it. You need to stop. How are you, Josh? Besides, crying over your wallet being sad.
I mean, my wallet would just wish that I could get all of this onto one transaction rather than having to pay individual shipping for everything. Because it's always Bungie rewards. Like that's pretty much exclusive to what I buy from them. I don't buy a whole lot of other stuff from the store. Mm-hmm. It's just, man, getting like a $5 to $10 shipping charge on like literally anything you buy, it just kills you.
Yeah.
So
Amazon,
to get
Amazon ruined that for everybody.
It's not even that. It's just like you can't put multiple pre-order things on one transaction. I have to keep logging in and doing it over and over. And I hate that, man. I hate it so much. But I did order my Vault of Glass jacket last night, which
nice.
That was a pretty big blow to my account.
Yeah.
I have the toaster ordered, but as we talked about before we started recording, I'm canceling my Jotun toaster.
It's a sad day.
My memes will continue to be dreams. I'm canceling this in favor of getting a hoodie.
You could have
the Season of the Splicer hoodie looks awesome.
You could have. Dude, you could have got the Xbox fridge. You could have got the Jotun toaster. You could have just had a themed kitchen.
I am 100% still. See, this is what I'm angling for. Is I figure if I cancel the toaster, my girlfriend will definitely not get upset at me buying the fridge.
Gosh, I want the fridge so bad.
I'm buying the fridge regardless. That's all I want for Christmas.
I told my wife about the fridge. She's like, "What do you need that for?" I'm like, "It's an Xbox, but it's a fridge."
See, I'm so happy that when I told Chelsea, I was like, "Here, look at this video," and I showed her. She loved it. She was like, "This is so dumb. It's so dumb that we need it." And I love it.
Here's the thing, though. Chelsea understands your love of video games. My wife still does not.
She plays them fairly regularly with me. It's fantastic.
I know. It's just that's the difference in our lives, Josh.
We've been playing the new Sea of Thieves this week. It's been pretty great.
Yeah? See Jack, old Jack Sparrow?
I love it. I've only done the first Tall Tale, but she's played through the whole thing.
Ooh, the whole thing? Isn't that thing like 12 hours long?
I mean, it's been out for a week and a half now. She had 4 days off in a row, so that's what she did on her days off.
Oh, well, that's probably, that's fair.
She did that. We watched movies we hadn't seen yet. I didn't catch up on Loki. The usual stuff you do on days off.
Yeah.
Well, I watched a lot of NBA.
Yeah.
Watched the OG Space Jam tonight. Played that fucking trash game you can get on Game Pass with it.
The best game, I hear.
Dude, it's Battletoads. Battletoads 2020 is a better game than this.
Yeah. Well.
No contest. Like, if you want to beat them up, go play that or play Streets of Rage 4. Like, this is just... It's bad. It's real bad.
My question was, is it better than Shaq Fu? That was my question.
I think so. I personally think so, but it's not by much. That's not a high bar to clear.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of weird things getting announced and shown and released. The Old Republic's getting an expansion. The first one in what, like 4 or 5 years?
2 or 3 years. Yeah, no, they get them pretty regularly.
Oh, really? I thought they were just
they're
updates.
Usually announced at the EA event, so that's when we all go and take a bathroom break. Usually is whenever they start showing the Old Republic.
Okay.
If that ever came to consoles, I'll be honest, I would probably play it.
Yeah,
But it's not going to.
I'm surprised it hasn't come to consoles yet.
You would think it would have, but no. This is their first. This is their first expansion in 2 years.
Yeah,
they did one in 2019. That's the last one came out.
The last one I remember is the one with the two brothers, I guess.
The one I remember was Shadow of Revan, which was in 2014. They didn't needed ones in. I mean, man, they did a lot of expansions real fast. 2013, 3 of them in 14, and then 15, 16, 3 years before Onslaught, and then 2 more years until this one. So, I mean, it's still getting support, but I don't think that game has a high player base anymore. This very realistically could be the last one.
Yeah. I mean, I think it shocked a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
So.
It's definitely rough, so.
You know what's not getting less than one more expansion, Josh? It's Destiny.
Is it Destiny?
It's Destiny.
God
Destiny,
almighty.
Josh. Big story implications this week. Big,
very big. I mean, I want to get to that before we dive into the TWAB this week.
All right. Well, you just want to kind of talk about it then?
I definitely do. I both love and hate this mission.
Why do you hate it?
I think this was I want to start with why I like it. I think it just was cool as like an amalgamation of all of the expunges that we've done so far this season, that you have a little section of each one. Mm-hmm. I think that's cool. But I think honest to God, I think the boss fight was pretty unique. I liked it. I liked that you had to take out 2 bosses that personally I think were harder to take down than Quria. Kira. Sorry, I keep mispronouncing. Quria. I don't know how to pronounce this character's name. I'm gonna definitely have to play the game a little bit more.
If only they would pronounce the name in the game while you're doing
it. They did. I was just like getting my day drink on when I did it at reset.
Well, that's fair.
So I was a little tipsy when I did the boss fight. It was cool. I liked it. I did it solo. I thought it was a really cool boss fight. But if that's really how Kira dies, I'm going to be really upset. Mm-hmm. Of course, you and I have both been pushing the theory that we think that she's the first boss in whatever the Savathun raid is.
Yeah.
That we think it goes her, Xivu Arath, Savathun.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that seems like a shoe-in to me.
Yet she is important enough that I could see them possibly at some point changing the Shattered Throne dungeon to make her the boss.
Yeah.
Or giving her her own dungeon. She is important enough to the overall lore that I could see that happening.
You think they would make, like, take the structure of one dungeon, like they would like they would do with strikes, where there's multiple versions of the same strike? You think they could do that with dungeons? You think they would do that with dungeons?
I mean, I think they could, but I don't know.
I mean, you really just change the encounters and the enemies, I guess.
Here, because I mean, you fight Duel and Karu in it.
Yeah.
It would give reason to go do it again, or because if you take her down for good, I think it has to be either in the raid or in a new dungeon set in the Dreaming City. I don't really know how else you would do it at that point.
Yeah.
But I don't think Kira's dead. I think Kira definitely has a role still to play in this story. Again, if this is how she's truly defeated, I'm going to be really upset, because this is one of the characters we've been reading about in the lore for years now. This is the mastermind, not really the mastermind, but the battery in the murder battery of the Dreaming City. Mm-hmm. With her dead, technically the curse over the Dreaming City should break.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll learn about that. I wonder if we'll learn about that in the epilogue then. I wonder if that's...
I mean, that has to be... I would say the Dreaming City, without a doubt, has to be one of the destinations that we focus on in Season 15. Mm-hmm. Which will start August 24th, I think. But not only do you have that, Marasov obviously has a big role to play. She has to find out that Uldren's alive. Petra's going to have to find out. Crow is probably going to have to go on the run at some point once Petra finds out he's alive. Battle lines are very clearly being drawn. Alliances are being formed, being fractured. The city is in disarray at this point. Yeah, we'll get into it in the lower corner this week, but Lakshmi is still pretty confident that something's going to happen. She's still up to something. Her and Hideo are definitely still up to something. Saint definitely doesn't trust them. If you listen to the dialogue when you beat Quria, he definitely doesn't trust them. Ikora doesn't trust them either. There's a civil war brewing that's going to happen in the tower. The only question is that the epilogue or is that next season?
Yeah. I wonder if the epilogue will kick. It'll be like a lead into next season. Maybe could always be that too.
I think it almost has to be.
Yeah.
I think it almost has to be. I'm again getting curiouser and curiouser about how this is going to happen, because almost certainly when the epilogue is over and the servers are taken offline for those 4 or 5 hours to upload the new season is when we're going to find out about Witch Queen. We're going to get the first details, first gameplay trailers, things like that, end of August. I don't think Kira's dead. I think Quria has to come back in some form. But at the same time, this is classic Bungie for a character that should be really important, like Zol, for example, dying in a fucking strike. A worm god dying in a strike.
Right.
Nakaris, the son of Oryx, dying in a strike. Granted, he came back in a seasonal activity, but he's dead for good now.
Yeah.
We didn't, and that's the most important thing. Quria is a Taken Vex mind. We did not kill her in the Ascendant Plane. There is a good chance she is still alive.
Yeah.
So, I'm curious. I'm just very curious to know what happens there. But really cool story implications. I think it was a good mission overall. I just kind of wish this would have been at least a new strike. Give it to me in a strike. I know a lot of people are like, oh, we're going to get an expunge style mission. That's what everybody thought. And it's well, when you build up those expectations, you know, expunge and harbinger were both teased.
Right.
They already said they weren't going to do another mission like that this season. They weren't going to do another random rolled exotic for quite a while. But I do think you needed a little bit more fanfare, whether that's a dungeon or a strike or something. I think you needed just a little bit more oomph.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That would be an awesome strike. Just as is, that final expunge would be an awesome strike.
Yeah.
I
feel like that they could change a little bit of it. I mean, just to make it fit more like a strike. But I really thought that mission was good. I still think like you said, how important she is to the story and everything. It just felt underwhelming. It feels underwhelming.
It feels really underwhelming. I think if you're not invested in the lore, you're probably like, oh, that was a pretty cool fight. And then you just go about your day.
Yeah.
If you're invested in the lore, though, and the backstory of everything, you're like, what the fuck? There's no way there's no way that Savathun let Quria be killed that quickly. Everything she does, and Ikora says this week, everything she does has a purpose.
Yeah.
Even if we don't know what it is yet. So I wonder if that's a Vex simulation that we killed ultimately.
Maybe. I mean, it's a real possibility. I mean, we're in a Vex simulation in the expunge missions, right? So maybe it was a simulation to see how Quria could fight back differently or something. Maybe it was a test run or something, you know?
Right. I mean, it's entirely possible. You can pretty easily retcon this, I feel, because it wouldn't be the first time Savathun's done. I mean, we had to fight Knockers again, for example, we keep saying at the end of Season of Arrivals. So,
yeah.
Who knows? I'm really curious. Maybe we even take her out for good next season in a new strike or a new dungeon. Like we said, we're overdue for a new dungeon now.
Yeah.
I don't really count Expunge or Harbinger as one. Those are the new Whisper of the Worm and Outbreak to me. Just obviously not nearly as brutal as fucking Trevor is in Outbreak.
God, Trevor.
Yeah, we call the red wall that passes through you in Expunge, we call that Digital Trevor. Oh, I mean, it's cool. The expunges are a cool idea. I hate that I have to do so many for this stupid challenge this week. It very well may be one of the ones I skip.
Oh, God.
You have to open 20 corrupted chests.
What?
And I'm at 5. So if it was just expunge chests, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
But it's 20 corrupted, and I'm just like, I don't know if I have 15 more of these in me, even if I do still have like 7 or 8 weeks left in the season.
Yeah.
I don't know if I got that many left in me.
I'm going to go ahead and put it out there and say that you probably don't have it in you.
I don't, but I really want my 4,000 Bright Dust, so I need it.
Josh, you'll do anything for Bright Dust.
I'll do anything. I'm a Bright Dust whore, but there's 2 new ghosts I need to buy.
Oh, God. The inflatable shark. And
the googly eye clam.
Yeah.
Eat them both. Guys, if you don't know what we're talking about, we're talking about Solstice of Heroes. We got the first info on it today.
Yeah, we did. And
I'm going to repeat what I've said the last couple of weeks. I don't give a shit about Solstice of Heroes this year.
I hate Solstice of Heroes. I hated it.
I like Solstice. I just hate how much of a grind it is.
Yeah.
But the armor doesn't look drastically different from past years. I do think it looks really cool with those glows. For once, I think the glows look really good on it. We're going back to the European aerial zone, so
yeah,
big swing and a miss for me there.
God, why? This is just Festival of the Lost all over again.
It is. We really need some new zones to develop. If Festival of the Lost doesn't have anything new this year, then that just confirms to me that Bungie is dumping everything into seasons now, which I'd rather them do, but don't give us some half-baked event then, if you're going to do that.
Give us some kind of cool change up in the event, in the seasonal event that you're doing, right? Like, right. It would be cool to, like, it's Halloween time, so now, like, it's dark and there's different enemies or whatever. Maybe there's different I don't know.
There's nightmares everywhere. Use the nightmare concept from Shadowkeep again, which we haven't seen in a long time. Once fully upgraded, your Solstice armor will glow and guide your fire team through the darkest nights. There is, however, a new weapon tied to this, and unfortunately, this is how they get me. They put a new shotgun in there, which, knowing my luck, this is going to become the PvP meta. No idea what can roll on this thing yet.
You know it is. It's a shotgun.
Each day will challenge you to match your attacks to the daily element to charge one of 4 unique elemental buffs. On prison days, all 4 buffs can charge, but only one can be activated at a time. Choose your subclass wisely. New legendary shotgun, new exotic ghost shell, new emblem, and plenty of Solstice packages to unlock. Cool. I like free unlocks. I like things like this. This is a unique design for the event. I like the colors on it a lot. I kind of hope that's a shader that we can get.
Yeah.
Of course, this is how they're going to get me. You can get a Bungie Rewards t-shirt that actually looks pretty good. I really like this.
Josh, you should just... Does Bungie have like a tab you could open and just... like
Bungie, just hire me! Just hire me so you can just give me all the stuff. I'll wear it all.
Josh says we'll work for merch.
Yeah, pretty much. Give me one of the Jotun toasters, man. And I mean that's about it. Like it's standard stuff for Solstice. The leaked requirements for the armor is out there. We just don't know what class it all correlates to. And it's going to be another awful grind like Solstice always is. So I don't know yet how much I'll end up playing. Probably the bare minimum to get a couple good rolls on the shoddy and then be done. Maybe enough to earn the shirt, because I do like the shirt, but in all seriousness, I really don't know if I have it in me to earn the fully upgraded armor like you need to. I just don't know if I have it in me.
Yeah.
And I do like the ghost shells. Inflatable shark.
Dude, the inflatable shark looks awesome.
Inflatable shark is great. That with the dino armor is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So, really looking forward to that.
I keep forgetting that dinosaur armor is coming.
God, dude, the dinosaur armor is going to be so good. I'm so ready for it.
I know. It's going to be so good. I need that T-Rex. I'm going to be a T-Rex. Oh, it's going to be awesome.
I can't wait to be a raptor. We do actually have, though, speaking of updates, we have a fairly meaty TWAB today.
Yeah, we do. It's beefy.
It's a little beefy. I mean, so we've already obviously dove into the Solstice of Hero stuff based purely off the webpage. The tower design looks really cool for it, I think. You can earn some magnificent white glows to adorn your armor with. If you have taste for the elements, though, you can get those from Eververse with either silver or Bright Dust. And for those of you who bought the glows in the past for past sets of armor, we do have an update from Bungie. Patch notes article that'll go live next week. They're going to talk about this a little bit more, but universal ornaments for previous Solstice of Hero armor sets, and these ornaments will be available for players who obtain glows for that armor in 2018 and 2019, unlocked for all three classes automatically, and the glow color will change to match the subclass. They were able to get them together for those who already own the glows. They may return for new players to purchase with silver or Bright Dust in the future, but not this year. And that's to me, that is the absolute best.
Yeah.
I think that's the best solution there. I'm going to get back to my tab. I've got some tabs open from things the community manager's been saying this afternoon.
Josh always has tabs open.
I have so many tabs. I have like 3 windows and 30 tabs. It's ridiculous. Somebody stop me. But Vault of Glass Master Edition launches next week as well.
Yeah, it does.
Master Mode, for those who are interested and invested in it. There is no minimum power requirement, but enemies will be at 1350 power.
Ooh, gross.
Isn't
the max?
That's basically contest mode.
Isn't the max level you can be right now like 320? What's
It's 1320 with gear, but your artifact can go as high as you want it to.
Oh, okay.
I'm almost with full power. I'm almost at 1340.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's not much more I can really do. I will attempt master mode, and if it's because there are going to be new modifiers, we don't know what they are yet. I'll attempt it, and if I fail, then I'll likely circle back in a couple weeks when I've gotten my artifact level up.
Yeah.
Should give it another college try. It unlocks the final triumphs required for the Fatebringer seal and title, including the ship you get for completing master mode, which is really cool. It's very similar to Aspect of Glass from the original game. So, like that. But it's also going to introduce a new class of weapons called Time Lost. Time Lost weapons are comparable to added weaponry from Grandmaster Rifles or Flawless Trials passages, but offer additional perks in columns 3 and 4 for more customization. Completing Vault of Glass challenges in Master difficulty, and you will be rewarded. Each week will feature a specific Time Lost weapon for you to hunt, rotating alongside the challenge. Once you've earned a weapon, you may also purchase additional rolls from the chest at the end of the raid on Master difficulty using Spoils of Conquest. These will be at a higher price than normal versions of the same weapons. This is where it gets a little funky. Weekly reward lockouts are shared between both normal and master difficulties of VoG. That means encounters, challenges, and hidden chests will only award gear the first time you complete them in either activity each week. They must be completed at master difficulty first to earn time-lost weapons and stat-focused armor. I do not like that. Not a fan of it. Not a fan of that.
Nope.
I get it, but I think that that's going to drastically reduce the amount of people willing to help newer players or Sherpa. I think that's going to drastically reduce it, at least on reset days.
Yeah.
I'm sure people will still do it after they get their first clear, but
yeah.
I can see them being like, no, I want to get all 3 of my clears on Master, which, I mean, why wouldn't you? Right?
Right.
But armor from Master difficulty will focus on specific stats, rotating weekly. If you've been hunting a Prime Zealot Helm, the high spec and intellect stat, Master difficulty will give you greater chances for the distribution you're looking for. So I like it. This will not be a walk in the park if you haven't dipped your toes into the end game before. Enemies are tougher. They'll be looking to put you down with more aggression. More champions will be appearing to defend the vault. More modifiers will be active, forcing you to think on your feet and come prepared. You're looking to increase your power, complete weekly milestones, and one of the ways to do that is Iron Banner, currently active. I'm really looking forward to this. I like Vault of Glass. I'm one of those who, now that I have VoG down, I'm like, yeah, this is kind of a joke. There was no way they weren't going to fix the Prometheus lens glitch before this happened.
Yeah.
And in a way, I'm pretty happy. In a way, it's like, oh, come on, man. Like, I'll give it the old college try, but this I feel like is going to be one of those things that I do once or twice to completion, and then be like, I'm just going to do the regular thing now.
Yeah. I mean, you do it just to say you did it, right? Like, this isn't...
Right, like, other than the ship and, like, Fatebringer, I don't know if there's, like, really a massive reason to force yourself through this.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm here for a challenge. I like that this happens. You can put adept mods on these, we have been told.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big selling point to me. But those mods are not going to drop out of the chest, out of the Atheon chest. Those will still only be available in Flawless Trials or in Grandmasters, which, again, I think is another really short-sighted decision, personally.
Yeah.
If this is going to be treated as an in-game activity alongside those, it needs to have an in-game reward alongside those.
I agree. So, Josh taking a sippy sip.
Oh, Josh dehydrated. It's hotter than hell today.
I'm just... Side note. The heat, man. Why?
Dude, fucking global warming. ExxonMobil, I hope you're listening to this. Fuck you.
I mean, I know science is real, but why can't the entire planet just be like 65 degrees, 60 to 65 degrees, hoodie, basketball short weather all the time? All the time.
Dude, it's rough.
Just throwing that out there. It's an idea, the next time somebody decides to create a universe. Just, I mean, George Lucas did it in Star Wars. Every planet had its own, just one climate.
Just one climate. One planet, one climate.
Yeah. So, I'm just throwing it out there. Somebody, the next creator needs to watch Star Wars and just take that idea and run with it.
Right. God, can we please show you the works of George Lucas?
Yeah.
Mid-season Sandbox update. This is what we meant by that's a pretty beefy update. We're going to break down some of the things they plan on talking about because there is a lot to process here. And most of this is PvP. So, with a handful of weapons sucking the air out of the room, we decided to bring some changes originally planned for Season 15 in the next week's update. We'll follow this up with a big set of changes in Season 15. Moving these changes up also gives us the option of doing some reactive tuning in the mid-season patch of Season 15. All in all, we'll continue to make changes outside of seasonal updates when we can, but they won't be this large or numerous. The big ticket items are shotguns, 120 hand cannons, and Dead Man's Tale. Combined, these dominate all forms of PvP, particularly Trials of Osiris. So the guy we're talking to here is Chris Proctor, the weapons lead, and I think he does a really good job here breaking down the roles of each special weapon, including snipers, shotguns, fusions, trace rifles, and grenade launchers. But we're going to talk specifically shotguns. So shotguns, the first thing. They're very dominant by any measure and don't allow for counterplay with primary weapons, particularly sidearms and SMGs. We see a lot of player feedback about their prevalence and how they make it difficult to use weapon archetypes that always feel good against players without shotguns. We want them to excel in a narrower niche than they do currently, so this change aims to retain the reliable one-hit elimination but at closer range and push them to be slightly rangier than currently at getting two-hit eliminations. As their intent for all special weapons, if players caught out of position with the shotgun, they should be at a clear disadvantage. So aggressive frame shotguns, the cone angle will change from 4 to 4.25 degrees, so bigger burst spread. Instead of it all being like locked down, it's going to spread it's going to deviate a little bit more, so that's what they mean by you got to be closer. The farther away you are, the more those bullets are going to spread. Mm-hmm. Shotgun damage fall off has been reduced by 2 meters, increased damage fallout max by 2 meters. Slug shotguns are unaffected by this change. I don't get killed by slugs too often in Crucible. It's the aggressive frames,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
It's the Fell Winters and things of that nature.
Fell Winter is still everywhere.
Chaperone. I haven't seen Fell Winters as much, but man, it's Iron Banner week and people are using it like crazy.
Yeah.
120 hand cannons were adjusted in Season of the Slicer, but it didn't make enough of a difference. We still believe they're too rangy and benefit way too much from a small damage buff, known as 2-tapping. It's tricky because they're now not too much different from their pre-Beyond Light form. They already had better range and 2-tap with Rampage, but people have latched onto their ease of 2 and 2-tapping potential since the buff in Beyond Light, and new 120s in Chosen have encouraged people to try them out. With this change, we expect other primaries to become viable where 120s ate their lunch, including adaptive hand cannons, pulse, scout, and auto rifles, while allowing 120s to keep the advantage of hard-hitting peak shooting at range. So the multiplier is going to be reduced from 1.8 to 1.6 on precision damage, preventing a 10% damage bonus from allowing 2-tapping in PvP, reduced aim assist, and reduced damage minimum fall-off. Great news. Fantastic news here. Because holy shit, I got really tired of getting killed by things like Igneous Hammer.
Yeah. Gosh.
I'm so tired of being killed by Igneous Hammer.
Yeah.
I get it. It was given away in trials for 3 wins, multiple weeks. But holy shit, I'm so tired of getting killed by that.
Yeah. It's everywhere.
Changes to perks. So I'm not going to go through all these, but the big one I want to talk about here is drop mag. Can no longer roll on drops of new weapons and will have its functionality changed later. There's a change coming in Season 15 that requires adjusting this and some perks with similar functionality. My guess is that they have an exotic that is going to factor pretty heavily into this, so they're preemptively nerfing it. Mm-hmm. But I love drop mag. Drop mag on a scout just feels so damn good. Thank God I still have I have a night watch that still has that. So for now, it'll still be good. But I love drop mag on a scout. Just on scouts. I absolutely love it. You can't really ask for much better. I don't think it rolls on pulses, but I may be wrong. I could have sworn I saw one on a pulse, but for sure, scouts, I love having drop mag.
Yeah.
There's a couple other things here about pulse monitor, rewind rounds, reservoir burst. Go read those if those affect you, because we want to talk about. We're going to talk about the near future and about Dead Man's. Dead Man's Tale is dominant on mouse and keyboard. Receives frequent critical feedback from players in the Crucible, and it's strong, but not worryingly so on controller. We're keeping the fast firing and hip fire, which we believe is key to the feel of the weapon. With this change, it will no longer have ADS levels of damage fall off while hip firing, and will be subject to fall off much closer. It would also require better aim to land hits while hip firing. We're deliberately only lightly touching ease of use in this change with the goal of not making it harder to use on controller. Thank you. From all of us on console, thank you. I love using Dead Man's. Yeah. I don't use it as a crutch, but I do like using it a lot. I use my secondary quite often if I'm using Dead Man's. But I love Dead Man's. I'm a guy who cannot snipe in this game to save his life. Dead Man's is a godsend for somebody who loves scout rifles as much as I do. Yeah. Really, really big fan of this. Sleeper Stimulant has gotten a little bit of buff.
I mean, going back to Dead Man's, especially if crossplay is coming, I just wanted to say that's probably going to affect affect a lot of people there too.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, but it's pretty undeniable that it's one of the most popular exotics in years. Yeah. And with good reason. I mean, you can go play for a new role every week if you want to.
I mean, that mission was cool, right? I mean, that mission is great. Is awesome. Let alone how cool, how good the weapon is. That mission was just cool.
I mean, I take this in the PvE quite often even. So I really enjoy Dead Man's. I think it's a great all-around gun. And so it makes sense. You don't want to run your most popular guns into the ground, but I can definitely see on mouse and keyboard why this is just dominating.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I like that they're trying to target it specifically to only affect them and only slightly decrease it for controller users, because we already have a pretty big fall off compared to mouse and keyboard. Sleeper Stimulant got some buffs because it was left out of the linear fusions.
Great. Can't wait to go into Gambit and see everybody using it again.
I don't think it's going to be bad. I did get killed by it in Gambit twice. I got killed by it in Crucible though a few times this week, and man, people are practicing with it. I'm not looking forward to this, but I don't think it's going to be nearly as terrorizing as it used to be.
Oh man, I remember when they brought this back, and it was just that's all anybody ever used in Gambit was this. It's all anybody used. Yeah. That and Queenbreaker.
Absolutely dominated. Some of the things that they're targeting for next season, and this is where I want to kind of spend the rest of our time in the TWAB talking about some of these, because a lot of these relate to us. So fusion rifles, we've been wanting to tackle fusion rifles for a while, so we're planning on a large rework, changes to the perks and mods, and custom tuning to most exotic fusion rifles. including Vex Mythoclast, which if you've been lucky enough to get it and use it, is a supremely underwhelming exotic.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a shame because it's a really cool gun. It's great for getting fusion rifle bounties done, but man, the time to kill is just not good.
Yeah.
That being said, I've taken it into Gambit and the Crucible and just humiliated people, so I don't know. If you can get the drop on them, it's pretty good. Breech-loaded grenade launchers. They're preemptively getting these. With the shotgun changes, we expect other special weapons to increase in usage. I believe grenade launchers have the potential to become more frustrating to play against as they become even slightly more common. So we're planning a small change that specifically touches priming and cleaning up targets. Thank you. I've seen a ton of breach loaders this season.
Mm-hmm.
Now, while people still usually have to be pretty good aim with them, and you can, if you're a hunter, you can dodge out of the way, throw a shield up or whatever. If you're a Titan, they're still really annoying to play against, especially when it's blinding nades.
Yeah.
It's not mountaintop levels of bad, but it's rough.
Yeah.
Scout rifles and hand cannons in PvE. Minor enemies and high-end content take way too many shots to kill with these weapons.
Yes.
Good. I love taking scouts in the PvE.
Yes.
Especially if I go do a Grandmaster, I'm carrying a scout with me probably.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I feel like it's taking me like forever to kill an enemy with a scout rifle, and then I'll switch to like an auto rifle or, something, whatever's in my secondary slot. And it just, Josh found a gift in his drink and continues to drink it. Do I want to ask what you found in your cup, Josh?
A piece of dirt.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, oh, well, that's gross. That's great. How'd that get into the ice maker? Fantastic. Machine guns in PvE.
Wouldn't want to know that answer.
Machine guns in PvE, they're not doing their intended job well enough. So noticeable change for Season 15. Love using a machine gun, but they simply haven't been usable in high-end content in years.
I mean, I would say the only one is Xenophage, right? And that barely counts as one.
Xenophage, I think that Commemoration from Deepstone is pretty decent for certain jobs. Like in some Grandmasters, it's great for breaking shields, frankly. Breaking void shields. 2 or 3 bullets and you're breaking them, which is great. The special ammo economy in PvP, they wanted to reduce the amount of special ammo floating around to a degree and have further changes in mind in case they're needed. Great. The big one that the people are pretty upset about tonight, and this is the one I kind of want to spend the rest of our discussion time on, is good old Anarchy. Anarchy has done too much, too well for too many years without even counting the boost it's gotten this season with the Breach and Clear grenade mod. So we're making changes that make it great in a couple of roles rather than being the jack of all grenade launchers. This is something that's drawn the ire of a lot of people in the community right now. And I want to be clear, while I understand why you would be upset about this, and I totally get it, I understand it, this is what needs to happen occasionally. I mean, we all remember when Bad Omens with tracking and clusters was the way to kill Riven in Forsaken.
Yeah.
Upon Forsaken's release for a while. And then it became spike nade launchers. Spike grenade launchers for, God, the next 9, almost 12 months, dominated. Yeah. Absolutely dominated. Up until probably last spring, they were just killing it. We go through these metas. I mean, God, we never thought we'd be in a sword meta, and then here we are with Falling Guillotine and Lament. Right? Like just sorting bosses to death instantly. It was hilarious to watch. It's time for a shakeup. Anarchy has become, it used to be like, oh, it's good on a couple of bosses. Like, if you 2 guys who have it, cool. If not, don't worry about it. Now we are legitimately at a point where if you're not using that, you are actively having an issue. It is the go-to in both of the new raids. Yeah. In multiple different roles. And I don't know. It's just become one of those things. Like, that's how you do the Templar encounter super fast. That's how you do Taniks really fast. It's great Taniks. If you have... Yeah, if you have that little bastard floating around and you have 3 or 4 anarchies and double slugs on each person, he gets melted in a phase. Like, I mean, we've single faced him doing it at this point.
Yeah.
It's crazy. As long as you have that and you have a divinity on there, I mean, it's bonkers how much damage you're doing to this guy. Which, thank God, they have made no mention of touching divinity, which is good because it's a truly unique exotic.
Don't worry, it's coming.
I hope not, because it's not something that, like, if you stack divinity, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I really hope they don't plan on nerfing it. They've already done a nerf to it, which is it couldn't stack with tether anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But throwing the stasis super for the hunters, throwing silence and squall out there, and then putting divinity on, just it's amazing. I love it. I've gotten to the point where I only run stasis in Gambit. So that's good. I do think Anarchy needs it. I mean, Breach and Clear is a large part of the reason why people are using it so much this particular season in every single activity.
Yeah.
But like I've seen the strategy of people using lasting impression rockets with Witherhoard. You know, you put Witherhoard on for the DOE, and then you fire off a rocket or two with lasting impression, and you go back to just dumping Witherhoard into him, and vice versa. That's a cool strategy. I don't know how much it works, but I've seen a lot of people go, well, we're all switching to Witherhoard now, which, yeah, you're probably going to go back to using that for a lot of high-end content.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And they have one last little note here about exotic primaries. We want to give players more reasons to use exotic primary weapons in high-end PvE, and have changes coming to help with that. And then more in the distant future. We want to keep a close eye on special weapons. We'll make adjustments once we see how they perform, particularly grenade launchers and fusions. We have an idea of what may need adjustments as these changes shake out, but we want to wait to see how they get received. And close eye on feedback on exotic weapons and which ones are under and overperforming. We have some tweaks planned next week in Season 15 and beyond, which should shake things up. Note that we specifically look at Catalyst as a way to buff underused exotics. For example, this is why we made the Catalyst for Trinity Ghoul and Deathbringer, so expect similar reasoning moving forward. Jotun Catalyst with full court win. That's all I want, guys. I shoot my Jotun across the map. I want full court as a Catalyst, which would just be like raining fire from above.
I mean, then that would just turn Jotun into the default, right?
I don't care. Bring it on. Bring it on. Some of us have followed the way of the Yeet for years now. It's time that everybody got to experience it. And then the last thing, at the risk of being vague, we also have long-term plans to address the issues of exotic orb generation and kill trackers without making a catalyst for every exotic. Good. I would really love to know my PvP kill count with Jotun, but I can't because there's no catalyst.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't just about Jotun, but like, I'd like to see similar things for. I'd like to see similar things for Xenophage and for Lament and things. The only thing I've ever killed with Lament is Axis, I think.
Oh God.
I'd love to see how many times I've killed Axis clones with it.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's cool. The full patch note list will of course be out on Tuesday when the hotfix rolls out.
Right.
Don't expect changes in the middle of the scale in the middle of every season, but the team worked hard to get these together and out the door. Some shotguns will still be fairly lethal, but will require closer range for the sweet one-hit elims. And yeah, another patch note preview. Kind of looking through this. There's a few changes to some of the expunges. There's some glitches with some of the platforms. I fall through a few of them anytime I try to jump onto them. And it's really frustrating having a deathless run ruined by that, or having a cheese ruin. Strikes, Inverted Spire, they're going to change the spawn orb of your ghost when you're down in the drill area. It tends to spawn you all the way back near the jump pads, so nobody can ever get back to get you. They're going to change that to revive you right by the drill. Trace Rival damage and momentum control. That big one when momentum was up a couple weeks ago. People were treating it as if it was laser tag 2.0, and it made it really fun, honestly. We know trace rifles are too hot. We're also aware that some players really enjoy laser tag and momentum right now. With that in mind, we're starting out with a small change to see how that feels before we take another pass. Because it is actually fun. I wish they would just set a mode where everybody had a default trace rifle, and that was just like a fun Crucible mode that came through, like Scorched. That would be fun to me personally. And then there's a few little gameplay issues here that they fixed out. Again, full list will be up next week. You guys can read that. I'm not going to sit here and read it to you.
Do it. Read it.
Read it. The list isn't up yet. I'll pick out some things if we think we need to talk about them next week. But I expect next week to be pretty Solstice heavy. And I'm looking to see if there's anything else here. Nope. I don't see anything else here that needs to be addressed. There's some awesome fan art of Saint in a suit. If you heard that line of dialogue to him from him to Mithrax, where he said, "We must have party. I will wear nice suit."
Dude, it's so fun.
It's great. He's doing the Jay Gatsby meme. It's fantastic.
It's awesome.
Love that.
I want a poster of that.
Always go look at art and movie of the week. It's always good stuff. But that's going to be about it for the TWAB this week.
It's a beefy one.
It's definitely meatier than we've had recently. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Which is refreshing. It's really nice. And there was an issue with the gunsmith, actually. I want to read this one really quickly. There's an issue with the gunsmith where certain guns did not have masterwork slots on them.
Ooh.
And they have said, starting next Tuesday, gunsmiths should stop selling weapons without masterworks. We're planning on a fix for Season 15 so the weapons can be sold again with masterworks. Couldn't get a full fix in, so we're stopping the bleeding until the full fix is ready. We'll get an answer on weapons that don't have masterworks, but may have to wait for their investigation to conclude. That's about all you can ask for, honestly. Mm-hmm. Existing weapons you've already bought that don't have a masterwork are going to stay that way. They're not going to go back and retroactively patch them. So,
I mean, that would be a lot of work, I feel like.
It's unfortunate. Yeah, it's a lot of work. And, I mean, of course, everybody's taking this opportunity to drag the dev team. So,
of course, because...
Why not? Ay. But Corey, we have one more topic to get to tonight.
Yeah, let's do it.
We have a good old lore corner.
Ooh, lore corner. Everybody likes a good lore corner, Josh.
Corner. It's gonna be another fairly short one. We're gonna start the Ada lore next week. But it's not going to be this week, unfortunately. Hate to break it to you guys. I'm going to make absolutely certain that the one that we're about to read is definitely in the game, and that I'm not accidentally spoiling something, because there is one page left to earn in this book that we have not gotten yet. I'm really wary of spoiling things after went off about data miners last week.
Data miners are the worst. The worst, Josh. The worst.
They're not great. Yep, it's here. Okay, cool. This is prediction. It's from the seasonal lore book, of course. It's from Beneath the Endless Night. In the days that followed Quira's defeat, the sky lightened, and so did the city's mood as the endless night began to slowly lift. Lakshmi, too, stood high on the city walls, watching adventurous citizens mingle with Elixni. She focused her attention on an Elixni peddler who had fashioned several small robots from discarded scrap. A small gaggle of children stood across the way, clearly interested in the robots as they moved aimlessly, but too frightened to approach. Lakshmi knew the peddler would sell one of the robots, but none of the scrap, and in the end they discouraged. It's a bright new day, she thought. It's a bright new day, a deep voice called out. Lakshmi turned to see the former warlock Osiris striding along the wall towards her. What a strange choice of words, Lakshmi answered. The darkness is closer than ever. And in the darkness, it's sometimes difficult to tell friend from foe. She remembered this conversation from her time in the device. Many of the potential futures it showed led her to this moment. Osiris had grown predictable. It is, Osiris said, and in the darkness it's hard to tell friend from foe. Lakshmi smiled inwardly. They were still well within the standard deviation. I'm surprised to hear you say that, Osiris. You're normally blessed with such uncommon clarity. My perspective has changed since I lost the light, Osiris began slowly. Time is suddenly finite. It makes everything seem more changeable. And if my perception can change, perhaps my enemies can as well. The folly of mortality, Lakshmi gestured to the scene below. Those people could never understand time as we do, Osiris. You've peered beyond the veil. You've seen the Vex simulation stretching endlessly. You understand that history is changeable, but also inevitable. I used to be certain of that, he agreed. But now I have to wonder, if history is inevitable, then why am I constantly surprised? Lakshmi chuckled. She had heard his comment before, of course, but her premonition had not adequately conveyed his fatuitousness. And so what do you think, Osiris? Will this bright new day last? She nodded towards the Elixni settlement. Are we meant to share the light with the fallen? As if you would know, she thought, you no longer deal in predictions. I've given up on prediction, Lakshmi. I put my fate in the hands of the traveler now more than ever before. He gave her a sideways glance. And what do you say? Is this a new dawn? Lakshmi recalled the vision she had so fervently sought within the device, the realization of her righteous victory over the Elixni, historical and preordained all at once. Her life's work crawling minute by minute from the future into the present. No, she replied. This is just a flash of lightning before the storm. Lakshmi is fucking nuts.
Yeah, dude.
There's no other way to put it. Like she's an extremist. She's a zealot. There is going to be a civil war in the tower before the end of the season.
Yeah,
just straight up.
I mean, that the more and more like Lakshmi comes into the picture, the more and more I think that epilogue revolves around this civil war type thing.
I do too. When they talked about Quria initially, I was like, Quria is definitely going to be the thing we take care of at the end of the season. Now I'm more convinced than ever that it's going to be dealing with Lakshmi and Hideo.
Yeah.
That there's going to be something that happens that forces us to fight them. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, come on, there's no way we're not picking up arms and fighting alongside Daddy Zavala.
Yeah. Oh, God.
We have allegiance to Lance Reddick and Lance Reddick alone.
Yeah. We're going to get him on the show someday.
You're not cool enough,
Josh.
Lakshmi.
We're going to get Lance Reddick on this show someday, Josh.
We will. We will one day. It'll be fantastic.
One day, we will get him here. What if we got him on and then we just did no lore corner on Zavala? Did it on, like, I don't know, the Colonel. The chicken.
Oh my God. And, you know, I actually would love to find some of the lore out about that. About Colonel. Not Colonel Panic, of course.
No. I mean, we could do a lore corner on Colonel Panic if we want.
We probably could.
I mean, I'm sure we could find some things. It'd involve a lot of Halo. But, Colonel Panic.
I'm definitely in, man. I'm so excited about where they're going with this storyline right now.
I know.
There's so many different layers to this, because outwardly it seems like, oh, it's just about Quria and all that, and like Lakshmi just has some racist problems. Well, it actually goes a lot deeper than that. She's a complete xenophobe.
Yeah.
And I think it's very interesting. You know, we talked about this briefly a few weeks ago, but it's fascinating to me, endlessly fascinating, that a game that you run around and you fight time-lost alien robots in, that you bake cookies in at Christmas, and that you buy dinosaur armor and baby shark ghosts.
I'm just saying, my ghost still looks like Indiana Jones, and I'm okay with it.
That somehow this game is telling more relatable human stories and tackling things like racism and xenophobia better than games that are supposedly meant to tackle those, like Far Cry.
Yeah.
Far Cry, Call of Duty. Like, I find it fascinating that Destiny is the franchise that's like actually doing that.
Yeah.
And I love this. We cannot heap enough praise on the narrative team. We sound like fanboys at this point, but I mean, it's true. Like,
we are to an extent, though, right? This show.
We wouldn't be doing this show if we weren't.
Yeah.
But I don't want to sound like, you know, a Bungie apologist. It's just, I really think that, you know, the seasonal narrative teams were catching a lot of flack, rightfully so, for some of the decisions made during Undying, Season of the Worthy, and Season of the Hunt.
Right, but at some point...
Hunt, at the same time, though, as underwhelming as the activity might have been, had some great lore behind it.
Yeah.
And has laid the path for what we're experiencing right now.
I think over the last year, I feel like the writing team and the story, like, I feel like they now worried about something like Season of the Worthy or something. I don't have that worry anymore. I'm like looking forward to next season to see how the story continues.
Every single week, I log in at reset to make sure that I'm not getting destroyed. You know, to make sure that I'm not getting not destroyed, but I do get that in PvP and Gambit. But to make sure I'm not getting spoiled.
I mean, I was worried last week when I logged in and there was Taken Blights in the tower, and nobody.
I'm
care.
still worried that nobody is addressing this in game.
Nobody cares.
Are we going to have Solstice without Eva Lavante saying anything?
What if we have Taken Grandma?
I'm absolutely dude. If Christmas Grandma is taken, I'm quitting. I'm quitting if Christmas Grandma is taken. I can't put her down.
What do you think Taken cookies look like?
Blights. There's like edible blights. They're the cookies we give to Riven.
Oh God.
Which, that one is great. I would really love to have that. I'd love to have to deliver cookies to Tanix this year.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious to me.
That'd be funny. So, but yeah, I'm excited to see like this civil war and like who decides to side with who, you know, because like Osiris is still acting weird, right? Does Saint follow Osiris or does he change course and go the other direction? You know what I mean? Like, it seems like
Saint is totally Saint is 100% on Mithrax's side now. They truly they're calling each other friend and things like that. And he said last week when they tried getting him on the side of the coup, he was like, no, I have to talk with Osiris right now. There is a 0% chance this man is not walking straight into Zavala's office and being like, do you know what the fuck is happening out there right now?
Yeah.
There is approximately a 0% chance that is not a real conversation happening with him and Zavala and Ikora.
Yeah. Where's Saladin at?
Dude, I don't know. I really need to know what's going on with Saladin because it's worrying me a little bit.
Yeah. I'm a little concerned, you know. Just
I'm still again, I keep telling you, I'm very confused as to why we have not had any mention of the Taken Blights in the tower yet. They've never been in the city or even close to it. I'm scared right now.
Yeah.
This didn't even happen with Oryx. Like a team, not Osiris, is doing something very weird in the tower right now.
Yeah. Is everybody just like corrupted? Is that why they're not? Are they hypnotized? Like, what's happening? What is happening?
I don't know. God. I'm so nervous for some of my NPCs over the coming weeks.
Someone's dying. Someone is going to die. You think that's why Ikora is going to play a bigger part?
As long as Lance Reddick is not killed off. If he kills off, I genuinely might stop the game.
I'd be very upset if I'd be very upset.
Of course, I said the same thing about Cade, and look at me now. So,
yeah, but I feel like
they'll make a commemorative shirt on Bungie rewards, and I'll be right back in.
I feel like though with Cade, like they told a compelling story, and look where it led, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess and for me, like I liked Cade, but I never had the attachment that I think most hunters do, right?
Fuck you.
No, I'm just saying, like I just never had that attachment.
Fine. We'll take Lance Reddick away. Okay, let's see how you like it.
No, I don't.
You'll be the butt of the no Vanguard representative.
No, let me finish. I'm saying that I would have a harder time with Zavala dying than I think I would have with Cade. Is what I'm saying.
Well, he's your guy, of course.
Yeah.
And they've given him story prominence now. Yeah. No. Listen, I'm just begging for us. It's been 3 expansions. Can I please get somebody in the tower to talk to with the words Hunter Vanguard next to their name? Please. This is embarrassing, man.
Yeah, you'll get a Hunter Vanguard when the tower is destroyed. And
give me Onabre or the Crow. I'm not picky. I'll take either one. Knowing my luck, it's gonna be fucking Shiro that's gonna show up.
It's gonna be Shahan.
God damn, dude! If it's Shahan, I'm playing a Warlock after that. I swear to God, I'm starting my Warlock back up. I will play Warlock exclusively until they kill off Shahan.
No, Shahan's gonna start his own. He's gonna break off from the tower and just start his own Cosmodrome Vanguard, and it's just gonna be him and like, I don't know, a sock.
It's gonna be
puppet.
him and the corpses of his friends.
It's gonna be like a sock puppet that just says in Sharpie. It just says Titan.
Sharpie.
He's gonna get some folding chairs and say, "This is where the Titan Vanguard will sit when we figure it out." He'll fold out his card table, you know.
Right.
His red turtleneck. Dude, he just looks like a really bad Destiny cosplayer. I'm sorry.
Dude, I love the joke that he looks like Aztecross. That's honestly my favorite joke. It's true. If you go watch it at Aztecross stream and then look at a picture of Shahan. It's bad how similar they look.
Man. Good times, Josh.
Good times.
What do we have anything else to hit on before we
No, man, I think that's it. This was, like I said, this was a meatier TWAB than we've had in weeks. It's been pretty nice. You know, we're kind of getting through that mid-season lull now. We'll have Solstice here for a few weeks. Honestly, probably some episodes on the shorter side still. Mm-hmm. You know, it's summer. This is typically when they're pretty quiet. We don't have a new expansion to talk about quite yet. But in August, as we race towards the end of the season, things are going to ramp up. Of course, at the end of August, we'll have the new expansion reveal. We'll have the new season to start before we slow down again, probably after Festival of the Lost.
Yeah.
It's going to get real quiet here around Thanksgiving and Christmas because we're going to be playing a lot of Halo.
Yeah.
A lot of Halo, a lot of Battlefield, but we'll still be playing Destiny.
Yeah. I will be.
Looking forward to ordering one of these Backbone controllers this week. Colonel Panic's been using one on vacation and has been telling me all about it.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to trying to play cloud gaming with a controller through the browser because
I'm enjoying it. I really genuinely am enjoying it. And with the Series X rollouts, I'm really excited to see how Destiny runs on it now.
It's just I don't understand why my Chrome browser on my phone is not recognizing.
Chrome doesn't where you have to. If you have an iPhone, you got to do it through Safari.
Okay. All right.
That I ran into the same problem. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll try that then.
It's a known issue with them. They say you should definitely be using Edge or Safari. I can't believe Safari is working before Chrome.
Yeah. That's
not great.
Yeah. So, all right, Josh. Well, we're gonna head on out then.
Yeah, we're gonna hop on out.
I want to thank everybody for watching and/or listening to Tower Casuals. Remember, you can email the show at towercasuals@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at Tower Casuals. You can listen to the show on Fridays or Thursday nights if you're up late enough. But most people listen on Fridays. I check. Josh, where can we find you?
Twitter, at Josh_Finn. 2 N's. All the time. All the time. Come listen to me rant about Ghost of Tsushima and tell everybody to watch Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. I think
Ted Lasso is a fucking phenomenal show.
I think I still have like 2 months left on my Apple.
I need you to watch Ted Lasso and Mythic Quest for me.
Okay.
They're both very good shows.
Okay. I heard Ted Lasso is like amazing.
Ted Lasso is probably the best sitcom I've watched in years, honestly.
Okay. I'll watch it. Isn't it about a football coach who goes and coaches soccer?
It is.
Okay.
It's significantly less about the sport and much more about the people, which is why I like it.
Usually is.
It's from the creator of Scrubs, too, which really helps. Bill Lawrence is behind it. Him and Jason Sudeikis. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic.
Cool. I'll watch it. You can find me at IamCoreyHG on Twitter. You can find me doing various other things on the internet. Like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you listen to us. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave us those 5 stars and a nice rating. It would really help us out. And I think that's it. I want to thank everybody for watching. And until next time, We love you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.